Alright, so we're just gonna use the standard Robin, especially since we're not gonna be completing this run anyway. So, there's few key things about the selections here. The speed asset is because, well, speed is quite simply put the god stat of most Fire Emblems, and here it's no real exception to that. Speed lets you double, so basically I'm rushing to try to get to those thresholds where I can let Robin mop up the enemies, because Fred's got a pretty short expiration date. His power falls off rather sharply. Aside from that, you also get 3 points of avoid for each point of speed in Awakening, so you're basically getting a double whammy of offense and defense. Hi, Coughed. As for the Flaw, skill is selected because, well, luck is usually the dump stat of choice. Early game Awakening has some issues where you run it. For one, Prologue has an Elf Thunder Mage who is gonna have listed crit, so taking a luck flaw means more or less doubling his chance to insta-give you. There's also certain mercenaries and archers who will end up with 1% listed crit. I know that doesn't sound like much, but it can happen, and it will happen. On top of that, probably more annoying than any of the Lunatic Plus skills, barring maybe counter, actually, yeah, barring counter in general, is the random gamble and zeal that will spawn on barbarians and fighters. This adds 10 and 5% crit respectively, so it's already annoying enough as it is, but taking a luck flaw makes those early chapters even more dangerous. Whereas skill basically has a negligible effect. If you compare it, the luck loss to the skill, or the hit and avoid loss of luck to what skill loses, skill basically gains that small amount of avoid back and loses a very small amount of hit. And early on, you're not really counting on any kind of proc rates, so that's not really too much of a concern. So it's basically a safety thing, where I guess in normal gameplay that's not Iron Manning it, luck would probably be no big deal, but here, lots of early listed crits that are already dangerous enough as they are. No need to make them worse. Yes, this is a kitten. She's about 10 weeks old at this point. Wait, why is Sarah displeased? We're not taking a luck flaw. I mean, we're not taking a luck asset either, but at least we're not taking a luck flaw. Yeah, luck got... The problem with Fates is luck got nerfed again when it really probably didn't need to. Like, it was already kind of a stat that everyone overlooked to an extent. I mean, Awakening, it's important until you get about somewhere in the 10 to 15 range with a B support, and then you just kind of stop worrying about enemy crit for the rest of the game. But in Fates, it's kind of like, well, better make luck only provide a half point of dodge for each point of luck. Because everyone was scrambling to take that 1 point of dodge in every other game. And of course, that's after Awakening nerfed the hit and the Void gain compared to Radiant Dawn. So, luck is just, I guess you could say, not had very good luck when it comes to what IS wants. No, I don't think that's right. It's a half point, because it's still 1 point in Awakening, and I'm pretty sure it's down to half in Fates. Although luckily for the Fates, when dealing with crit, the skills contribution to crit got a little bit nerfed, though not as much, or not enough to really compensate luck too much, because I believe it subtracts 4 from skill before it starts counting the half points towards crit, which it's enough to neuter a lot of early enemies, but it's comparatively, I still think luck kind of got the short end of the stick. No, I'm pretty sure the old system was 1 point of hit and avoid per luck, as well as 1 point of dodge, but speed provided 2 and skill provided 2. So, I mean, speed and skill did get nerfed going into Awakening, but it still doesn't compare to the kick in the balls that luck got. Which is unfortunate. Anyway, we'll save over this file. That practice file was basically far enough that we weren't going to be doing, or I wasn't going to be doing too much more with it. Once you kind of hit the wall heart stuff, it's not. It's more about maintaining focus and not throwing away the run than actually learning complicated strats. Because there's kind of a, well, from chapter 18 onward, there's a lot of turtling involved, just because that's the safest way to do it. Hey Yoshi. Alright, so,
right.
Well, Premonition does never really changes. It's kind of a pushover anyway. We are going to be going with combat animations off and game speed on fast, just to not make things too crazy, but we'll leave skip actions off, which will allow the enemy phase to be seen and stuff. That's premonition, whatever. I guess in case. For anyone who hasn't really figured it out, you just have Crom use the silver sword in the lead with Robin paired to him, and he does enough to one round Valadar without any risk to himself.
Shall we then?
Sorry, Marad. This isn't really going to be a story run. This is more of a strategy explanation. I can do another Awakening story run later, but if I were to do a story run now, we wouldn't get too far with these tutorials. Yeah, sorry, sorry about going off on that game theory tangent about luck. Yeah, sure, you can go ahead and PM it to me after. Yeah, so I guess I forgot to do a mic check after I turned that up. Is my volume actually good now? Okay, good. I don't know why it was turned down before. Well, I mean, I turned it down on purpose, but I don't know why it was comparatively lower. Because I'm pretty sure I didn't adjust anything with my mic, so I'm not sure what was up with that. Anyway, so, Prologue. This one can be a little overwhelming to work out at first. There's a lot of enemies that start way up, and this first wave here is just out for blood right from the get-go. The earliest strategy that was found that was kind of reliable is you move Fred up here, and you kill this Myrmidon. Then you have him weaken the Barbarians, and just basically you have Robin try to pick up kills while Crom distracts this Myrmidon. It's not a strategy that I use too much these days, but it still has its place in that the strategy that I normally use, these guys will all have a chance to kind of have a kick at Fred, or possibly, depending on the Lunatic plus skills that spawn on them. So it's actually possible for the Myrmidon, Barbarian, and Mage to have a combination that will actually end up killing Fred. If that is the case, then this strategy becomes something that you don't want to do, which is why the old strategy is used as a backup. So, for the Myrmidon to contribute at all to this problem, he needs to have Vantage and Luna Plus. If he just has Vantage, Fred's just gonna laugh at him because he's not gonna deal any damage. Fred is... he has a high enough lance level that he reduces incoming damage from swords by 1, and then when you have weapon triangle advantage against an enemy, they lose all of their weapon rank bonus, which is really important to either of the Lunatic difficulties because these guys will basically all have max weapon ranks, which is, in the case of Awakening, that's going to be A rank for pretty much everything. I think there's a few enemies who have lower ranks or worse weapons, but usually they're the ones that are kind of set and attacking NPCs, like ones that fight Libra or Aseri. But general rule of thumb, enemies are going to have A rank weaponry. So for instance, this Myrmidon, Fred attacking him is going to take away 1 damage for Fred's lance rank, and 3 damage because this Myrmidon would normally get 3 extra damage for A rank swords, but Fred lancing him negates all of that. So that's why, even if he has Vantage with no Luna Plus, Fred's just going to laugh him off the board. Now, Barbarian, he can actually be a problem all himself. You see, this is one of the random annoyances here. He spawned with Gamble. Now, we're not going to have enough support points to give Fred the plus 10 dodge here, so it's entirely possible that this Barbarian could crit, which, if he doesn't have Luna Plus, it can cause problems, but it's survivable. If he has Luna Plus, he's going to one-shot Fred, and that will be the end of the run. Unfortunately, there's not much that can be done about that, so hopefully now I'm painting a picture of why I hate random skills. I give random crit over any of the other skills. If he just has Luna Plus, he can possibly weaken Fred enough. If he has Luna Plus and the Myrmidon has the Vantage with Luna Plus, if the Mage has Vantage at all, it's probably going to kill Fred, I think. Let's see. He would have, yeah, the Barbarian would have put out 13 damage, the Myrmidon would put in 7, so that's 20 damage already, so even with Lissa as a pair partner, Fred's just gonna straight up die if these guys both do that. And the Mage has Vantage. The Mage is probably the least problematic if he has Luna Plus, just because Fred's res is garbage. Even with Lissa helping out, the Luna Plus hardly adds any damage. The big problem is if he has Vantage. If he has Luna Plus, Vantage Plus, and Magic Plus 2, it might make things a little dicey, but generally speaking, the only thing that really matters for the Mage is Vantage Plus. However, there are a lot of enemies on this map, and there's 4 skills in the pool when it comes to Lunatic Plus. So the odds of actually having the right combination for them to kill Fred is actually really low. Like I've seen it maybe 4 times, 3-4 times tops, out of how many hundreds of attempts? So it's not something you're gonna see too commonly. But if you do go to input strategy, make sure you keep an eye out. Check the skills. I guess if you're playing with saves, it kind of doesn't matter too much, because if Fred dies, you only lose like 40 seconds tops. Anyway, so what we do here is
Really?
shift Rowan over here. This is kind of a throwaway move. We just have her take a pot shot at this guy. It's actually, interestingly enough, it's actually preferable if she misses, because it still gives weapon experience, but it doesn't expend a thunder charge. I mean, I guess 10 for the experience is still 10 for the experience, but it is nice to conserve the Thunder Tummies. So next, what we do is we unequip Crom. Now, the reason for that is Fred is going to be fighting this Myrmidon. Fred can easily kill him, which we're going to do right here. There is that very slight chance we see here. If the Myrmidon has a Void plus 10, Fred has 99 listed hit, which I guess I should add. Anyone who doesn't know about true hit, basically the game rolls 2d100 and takes the average. So your chances of actually missing with a 99 are really stupidly low. But it is a thing that can happen. Anyway, so we'll kill this guy. Now what's going to happen is this Barbarian is going to come down and fight Fred. And we don't want Crom to dual strike. Because we want to give that experience to Robin. If Crom dual strikes, the Barbarian's going to die and we're going to lose out on a fair chunk of change. And that's not really good, because in Prologue you want to stuff Robin as much as possible. It's worth noting that basically the strategy I do here is going to get Robin to either level 7 or level 8. The backup strategy, unless you're pretty lucky and spend extra resources, level 5 is probably about as far as you're going to get. So Lissa here is going to do an interesting kind of baiting, because the enemy is more or less not aware of pair up. So if they can isolate someone, they will, and they will do so without accounting for the ability to move on to onto another unit. So what happens here? You got Barbarian fights Fred, Mage runs down, Myrmidon runs over. Now what would happen is if I didn't have Lissa here, this Barbarian would go, oh, well everyone's over here, so I'm gonna go over here instead. And that would put 2 melee guys in range of attacking Robin. That's a problem because Robin can't tank 2 hits. And if that happens, chances are Robin's probably gonna get splattered. So Lissa comes to where the Barbarian here, and she's just enough in range to pair up onto Robin. So now this Barbarian's just left over here doing his thing. Well, Lissa thumbs her nose at him. Next what we do here is we transfer, because we do want to boost Fred's res. It would be he would be slightly less survivable without that res. Plus, here it benefits Robin to have Crom with the Rapier equipped because she has imperfect hit on this Barbarian. So this 83, I think it's around the actual like 90-some% chance to hit under true hit. If that fails, Crom has a 33% chance to dual strike, and I believe he has, let's see, he has 104, so he's gonna have 93 listed listed hit against the Barbarian. So basically between those two, we're hoping that the odds work in our favor, because that produces a very low chance of failure. And it hasn't happened often, but there's been at least 2 times where Crom has saved the map by doing that dual strike. Yeah, that is pretty funny. And yeah, the the chat will be saved by Twitch alongside it, so I guess if someone's inclined to also keep track of everything while going through the playback, they'll have some nifty notes. So yeah, here what we want to do is trade Chrome's weaponry away to Fred, and the Vulnerary, because Fred's gonna want the Vulnerary, but de-equipping the weapons from Chrome means that we can milk this Myrmidon for a little more experience, because that dual strike we're depending on as a safeguard for the Barbarian, that can also happen for the Myrmidon when it attacks Robin. And if Crom contributes extra damage there, that's experience lost, basically. And once again, we don't really want to do that, because we want Robin as powerful as possible. And since it's easy to trade all that away, we just do that, so that Robin has a chance to hit the Myrmidon, but Crom gets languish in the back. And he'll have plenty of chances to pick up more experience as the run goes on anyway. So Fred's gonna attack this guy. This is gonna be a little bit painful. He didn't take any damage from the Myrmidon, and the Barbarian didn't have Luna Plus, so Fred is pretty handily surviving, even the mage having Luna Plus there with advantage. So next we want to shift Robin over here. Generally speaking, she's gonna end up getting sorted on the face. There will be occasional times where she dodges or gets a dual guard, but for the most part, it's not going to be the case. When she does, I mean, if you feel inclined, you could equip the bronze sword and have her go here instead. But what we do is we switch to Crom, who has the health to survive being attacked. Now you'll notice I'm moving onto the water. This is something that only Crom and Robin can do at this point in the game. Fred can't, Lissa can't, none of the enemies can get into the water either. So I'm sure some people are seeing where this is going. This is basically going to be abusing the crap out of the Thundertown. But in order to do that, we need to actually get Fred and Lissa to be safe. So we move them up all the way over here. So Myrmidon hits Crom, but the Myrmidon's also body blocking the Barbarian, so the Barbarian just sits there with his thumb up his butt.
Are you ready?
Next thing we want to do, we move Crom over to the right one, and we drop Robin above him. Now, this is important because we want to be transferring characters around so that we can get onto the water in time. What I usually do here is I trade Crom back his weaponry and unequip Fred. Because there's going to be times where Robin is attacking with Fred as a partner, and like with Crom, we don't want him to be dual striking because that takes experience away from Robin. So next we transfer Alyssa over to Crom and return. The enemies are still on the other side of the bridge, so they're taking some time to move over. Transfer Alyssa over. I usually unequip the rapier here, or try to remember to, because later on Crom might, or well, he pretty much is going to be face tanking a couple hits. And we don't want the rapier equipped on him because he can, well, he can crit. He can also get dual strikes. Well, I guess Fred will be unequipped, but he could crit, which could cause problems, like both enemies dogpiling. And then taking experience away from Robin. So anyway, we pass Lissa over, move Fred onto Crom, shift Robin up. Now what happens here is we move Chrome up, and look, enemies can't reach. So what's Robin to do? Take Fred, because Wissa adds magic. And we don't really want that, because we want to milk these guys. Because if we had Lissa, we'd be dealing 8 damage, which means 3 hits to kill. But with Fred, we get 4 hits to kill. So what we're going to do is that, to get a bit more experience. Oh, did I? Let's put cursor memory in. Forgot about that option. And occasionally Robin's gonna miss. Since there's no real danger to her, that's actually technically a good thing. Because up until the 5th attack, I think it's after the 5th, or maybe at the 5th, you stop gaining weapon experience. So an extra miss means an extra attack, but that doesn't cost the thunder use, which means more weapon experience for Robin. It may seem negligible at first, but if you can accumulate on a few of these guys, it can actually get you to C Town sooner, which is a benchmark for an extra damage. And then, in addition to that, springboarding it to B, which is an additional... actually, no, wait. Yeah, C is an additional damage, B is an additional 5 hit. So that's another thing that can help out, because especially with the Thunder Tome, Robin's hit rate is going to be a little sketchy. A fire does come later with Muriel, but generally speaking, that 5 extra hit is always welcome. So what we're doing here, we're also keeping in mind building up para points, so for when it stops mattering, we will also flip over to Lissa for the final blow to continue building support points. Now, something that complicates things is it's Barbarian. If he moves here when we go into the water, he's going to be in a weird position like this. If he were to have moved here, he would actually be in range of Robin without, or we'd be able to get him in range of Robin without needing to do too much. However, I'm kind of glad he did the bad one here, because then I can demonstrate what you do to correct this. So you place Fred down there, you move Chrome back, you run Fred all the way to the left. You do it again. So that Barbarian's gonna run over here. Now that's just enough for Fred to escape. And the Barbarian will keep chasing him. Now if we do this, move Chrome to the right, once Fred's on this bridge. Because this Barbarian's chasing him, he's gonna go here, right in front of Robin, and then Fred can hop on Chrome, flip over here, and we're safe again. And another bad thing is sometimes Robin crits, and that's unfortunate. Because then we're denying ourselves experience again. So, with those guys cleaned up, and unfortunately us a little short on experience, however, at least we got to level 3. So that's a nice thing. We want Robin to have vulnerable she probably won't need it for this chapter. Usually having to use it in this chapter means some kind of blunder happened. But we want it to be in her inventory for chapter 1. And, well, the chapters beyond that too, really. Because this is not really going to be making good use of the monarch. So now this is another scary thing, and I bet, especially since now that I'm doing this as a tutorial, it's going to happen. This mage has 9% or 9 crit after Elthunder. You may notice he also has focus here, but that's irrelevant because he's going to move here, his Barbarian friend's going to be within 3 tiles, so he's not going to pick up the focus bonus crit. However, no matter how well you're doing for luck, even if you gain a point of luck every time, he's still going to have 1% lessened crit. In this case, we only gain 1 point of luck, so he's going to have 2% lessened crit. And unfortunately, our magic's not too good either, so this is one of those points where we'd actually like to have more attack, because the sooner we kill this mage, the safer we are. As it is with base magic, we have to survive 4 hits from him, so that's going to be 4 chances at 2% for him just to end this run. It's generally fairly unlikely. There's unfortunately not much that can be done about it, because positioning to get the +10 dodge from supports is the kind of positioning problem that would put Robin in range of getting mauled by all of the melee enemies. And we could take a luck asset, which would completely cancel out the crit chance. But then we're taking a luck asset, which screws us in basically everything else. Yeah, I'd really like that mage to have Hellfire instead of Elthunder, but I don't know. Some of the design choices here are a little bit weird. Like, even though the Elthunder is kind of dangerous, like as I said before, the random gamble of Zeal probably bugged me more, because the crit chances from those are more significant than a single mage. Even once Robin's powered up, there can still be issues. If not with Robin, around other characters. Like Fred only has 6 luck. So like you get a Barbarian like this with 12% crit, or 12 crit. It's a 6% listed chance if Fred has a tank of it all. That's a problem. Of course, later on you have enough support points that Fred kinda doesn't care, but up until then, it's a little dangerous. Oh god, 15 people playing pen and paper Fire Emblem. Yeah, that would take forever. Like, normal tabletop takes a long time if you've got, say, like 6 to 8 people. Imagine 15. Alright, so let's see what the Elthunder Mage does. Alright, so he's not too powerful too. which is a significant thing. This guy, if he has Luna Plus and Magic Plus 2, you're in for a bad time. I mean, it's survivable, but you're gonna use up a crap ton of healing staves. And that can have significant impacts on later chapters. So I guess to elaborate on what I'm talking about, what you can do now is, after fighting an elf in your mage, you drop Lissa here, end the turn. Now these enemies are going to move over. Lissa's going to be in range, but you can shift to the right and get a heal. Now these guys will get in range, but we can get back into the water. And I cannot stress this enough. Lissa's heals are unlikely to be you at full, so whatever you do, do not try to do the shortcut pair up, because you'll just end up healing and then Lissa's gonna die. So always at this point, do the mini pair up. So now we're out of range of these guys, however this guy is gonna continue moving over. So mage is gonna come over and try to threaten us. However, we can move up. Now, what we can do here is we can also separate Lissa out. And if we want, which is generally going to be the case where the mage here has Luna Plus and Magic Plus 2, you can get another heal with Lissa. That's generally significant because the elf in her mage is probably dealing 15 damage when it's comboing both of those. And yeah, Robin's probably gonna die very quickly if she doesn't get double heals. So, if we were wounded enough, Lissa would heal again here, but since she's not, that's just for demonstration, so I'm gonna end the turn again. Which moves everyone back up. Sometimes, for whatever reason, instead of going here, the mage will like wander off to the side. That's generally not a big deal. It's weird, but it just means that when you move everyone down, you just have to wait an additional turn for the mage to catch up. So now we're gonna cycle this again. And what do we want to see here from Lissa is hit points, magic, and speed. Magic is probably the most important in the long run, because more heal is every point counts early on, but also later on, she's going to be the only competent rescue staff user, and if she can't get up to 5 range, there might be issues. Speed and hit points are always nice, because since she's constantly healing, Lissa's actually going to gain levels rather quickly. What this means is, if she has enough hit points and speed at certain points in the game, she can actually face tank enemies, which is not going to be relevant most of the time, but if you need a clutch save where someone needs to take an arrow to the face or something, Lissa has actually pretty good odds of being tough enough to take it. And of course, I guess defense helps to supplement the hit points, but really, with Luna Plus flying around, raw hit points is typically preferred for someone that's just going to off-tank a single hit like that. So what we're going to do here is just keep cycling this. So pair up again, go up. Mage is going to come here. Now, I'm not even going to bother dropping Lissa here, but Do this, let them come back around. Wait one more turn. As you can see, they're just getting rope-ed over and over. I guess one other thing is it's possible that you'll end up facing more than 4 attacks, and it's because if you look, 84 was the hit, which is a pretty good chance to hit, but it's not perfect, and misses do happen. So there's a... I think I've gone up to needing 6 hits before, it was kind of gross. You need exceptionally bad luck for that, but it is a thing that can happen. Alright, sync it back up. Mage is going to come on the bottom. So we go up like that again. Get everyone to start running around again. And it's worth knowing that it's important that Crom stay up here too. Because if you go down here, this mage is going to come back around and try to target him, and everything's going to be weird and out of position, and you're probably going to die. So now we do that. Mage comes over. I was waiting for that crit to happen, but apparently we're gonna get away with it this time. Alright, so stat spread's a little unusual. We've gained more defense than the typical speed asset Robin really gains. Magic is a bit low, which is unfortunate, because magic and speed are probably the primary stat points that we're looking for with Robin. Because the more killing power you have, the better. For the most part, in the earliest chapters, Fred's going to be taking the hits. And Robin probably won't be able to take more than 1, maybe 2 hits. So we're basically looking for Robin to 1-round enemies, and then Fred and company to clean up 1 or 2 others, and this keeps things manageable. So this is why we want Robin to have overwhelming offense. Hit points are important too, because I mean, Fred can't tank forever, so Robin's gonna eventually have to transfer over to be primary tank. And the more durability she has, the better, but to actually get that far, you need offense. So now, with the mage dead, these guys are just sitting here going, oh, damn guys, what do we do? And the answer is, feed Robin. So these barbarians are all easy targets. They can't really do anything to fight back. So we're just gonna pick them off. Alright, so snag another kill here. Now, these Myrmidons, we want to lure them over to the shore. Things can get a little complicated if both of these guys have win a plus. But we'll do the base case first, and basically what we're doing is we're having Crom unequipped at this corner, and this is what I was talking about before. You don't want the rapier equipped because otherwise he'll have a small listed crit chance. And if he crits, he steals experience from Robin, and if both of them have Win a Plus, he dies. So we're just gonna do that. And now we're gonna have Robin pick at those guys. And Crom skits to the left, goes up. We're still wanting to get adjacency support points here, so we go ahead and stick Crom beside. And we'll show Lissa the kill. So now normally what we could do then is we have Crom go down and go here. And for this case where if only one of them has Win a Plus, we can have Crom just straight up blur them. However, what I'm going to do here is assume that both have Win a Plus. So what we can then do is we move Crom up here and bring Wissa over. And what we do is then we move. I guess we don't even really need to move them over. We'd have Crom go here, and then Lissa would heal him. So then the Myrmidon comes up. So we pair Lissa to Crom. Again, make sure it's a pair command, because otherwise Lissa will heal him and then she'll die. So then what we want to do is we want to make sure Crom gets 5 hits, so we give him back Fred. And just have Crom get attacked. This wears a Myrmidon into range again. We move Robin here. Crom here. Everyone's safe, Crom gets to the left. Swap for Fred again here, and poke at him. So we'll trade to Lissa for the finisher. Now, this guy and the Barbarian from the very end of the first wave, sometimes they won't have vantage points. You want to try to conserve Thundertome uses if you can, and to boot, the Bronze Sword has a very good hit chance. Obviously this doesn't work if they have Vantage plus you've taken damage, so make sure you pay attention to the enemy skills. However, if there is no Vantage plus, you can take advantage of that, save Thunder use, and still get the kill for Robin. Now, I know I've griped about Gamble before, this guy has Gamble, but it's the random Gamble that's the problem. For this, it's not as big of a deal. We do want Robin to be at full, but part of being able to do this with a little risk is knowing just what each mechanic does, and in this case, if you look at this formation, no one has any support, like actual support conversation ranks at this point. However, each adjacent or paired character is still worth 1 point on the scale. It goes up to 2 for C, 3 for B, 4 for an A, and 5 for S. So the important thing about this is 1 point is plus 10 hit. That's really good, because our hit rates aren't very good. The dual strike partner won't benefit from it, but the lead unit will. Void plus 10 is okay, that's at 2 points, and some strategies will make use of it. generally speaking, everyone's avoid is too poor to really bank on it, though, at this point. So we're kind of ignoring that. 3 points is the next kind of milestone, and that's plus 10 dodge. Now, if you look, Robin fighting alone, this guy's got 5% wisdom crit. Fight in formation, no wisdom crit. So what we're gonna do is we're going to sit down beside him, let him attack, and counterattack him. And sometimes he misses if he doesn't have Haka. Generally he's not going to, but from time to time he will, and that's kind of cool. So Robin didn't get damaged again, so we'll just let him do his thing. However, now this is where being able to math in your head can help save a few heal staff pieces. You might need two to let Robin survive the next hit, but if it only needs one every, and then needing 2 heals every second attack, if you're on the ball with that, then you can save heal staffs. But it comes down to doing the math, and usually for that to happen, Robin has to pick up a crazy amount of hit points and defense during her level ups. So it's not going to happen too often, but if it does, you should take advantage of it. However, assuming that the Barbarian did hit, and in this case, we're looking at 18 damage. So that's not enough for 1 heal. So what we do is, this boss doesn't move, he's just sitting there doing whatever. So you can move up here, and it allows you to pass the turns, get 2 heals with Wissa before moving Robin back. So when Robin's fully healed, he can go take another hit. In this case, apparently we're just gonna exchange misses. There we go, there's the hit we took. So do that. And you pretty much never want to be attacking Garrick. There is a time where you can, it's like the Myrmidon and the Barbarian from before, you can save a Thundertone use if, and only if, he doesn't have Vantage Plus. And you weaken him enough, and it's kind of random because, well, your strength and magic are going to be completely different every time. It's worth noting that Garrick will never have pass, so chances of having anything really favorable to save resources against him is kind of low, honestly. But keeping an eye out for it can be rather helpful. So yeah, basically at this point we're just doing the rotation until we kill him. Wow, what is this luck? We get a dual guard and then we miss the attack. Another dual guard. Wow. I'm almost sad this isn't real. Alright, so that took a little bit, which is why I usually don't go into that much detail when I do a real run. There's just not enough time for it.